The lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on. I think he missed the pit completely. That is crazy stuff.
Side Freitas is on the grass on the infield before. He slides through. He tags Richard.
Hello and welcome once again to the iSuperSpeedway.com racing series. We are at Daytona for the penultimate race of season 2. That's race number 11 out of 12 races, and we are bringing it to you live on the Global Sim Racing channel. I am Richard Losper, and joining me this evening is Evan Pisocco and Samuel Ryman. Our director is Giancarlo Lenzi, and our camera sets are provided as usual by Dougie Beard. Evan, Daytona, once again, remind the viewers what it's like at Daytona Super Speedway, this icon of American oval racing.
Yeah, this racetrack, the world center of speed, and it's going to be our last trip to this track, guys. It's the second last race on the season under the lights tonight, so going to be a fun one always when the lights are on. This racetrack located in Daytona Beach, Florida. The track itself, an asphalt surface, 2.5 miles in length, a little bit thinner than that of Talladega Superspeedway, and something to keep in mind is the start-finish line is directly in the middle of the tri-oval at this racetrack. Unlike Talladega, there are 4 turns. They're banked at 31 degrees apiece, 18 degrees of banking in the tri-oval, and also 2 degrees of banking down that back straightaway. Today's race is going to be 40 laps, guys. That's 100 miles in length. And the weather is 78 degrees, 88% humidity, and a little bit of wind to the east at 8 miles an hour, mostly cloudy skies. But again, under the lights, it's always a fun one, and this is our last trip to Daytona.
Yes, getting close to the end of the season, so last chance to watch these guys in action at Daytona Super Speedway. Now, Samuel, during the broadcast, folks can contact us in a number of ways. Tell them how they can do it.
They can, Richard. Remember, folks, you can follow us at Facebook at facebook.com/Global Sim Racing Channel, and on Twitter at GSR Channel. That's the hashtag symbol GSR Channel. Sorry, not hashtag handle. So, if you have any questions or comments about this broadcast or want to stay in touch with the world of GSRC, you know where to find us. And I've got Twitter open right now, and send us your questions.
Thank you, Samuel. Now, Evan, as usual in the last half of the season, they have brought some special rules into effect. Just remind the viewers of what those rules are.
And we saw a couple of incidents last week where we saw some pushing, or what appeared to be pushing, in the turns that led to some incidents. And again, you're going to run down through these 3 main rules that the race admins emphasize to these drivers, and that is number 1, no bump drafting in the corners or the tri-oval. These cars can get very unsettled with a bump to the quarter panel there under the green flag conditions in the turns, so you're not allowed to be pushing. You can, give them a little bit of a bump, you can stay tucked up on them, but you can't push the guy in front of you all the way through the corner or the tri-oval. So that really forces these guys to kind of run more of a little bit of a pack race. Also, the leader must start on green, can't go any before the sim throws the green flag, can't go any after. And then if you're leading the line, if your first car maybe on the inside or the outside, you can't be dragging the brake, letting off the gas to maybe let your buddy drop down in front of you. If you're leading a line, you got to be 100% on the throttle.
Thanks, Evan. Well, we got about 12 of the drivers on track at the moment doing their warm-up. And the elapsed time of the warm-up, there's about 6 minutes left, Samuel, on that. So let's talk about the championship for a little while. As we know, the season is coming to a close, and last week we had Rodney Wofford take his first win of the season, and he took the checkered flag under caution, and he was followed home by Logan Doherty. First time for him on the podium as well, and league organizer Rod Flagg. We have to feel for Donny Garatano. You weren't here last week, but he was so close to a win. So let's have a look now at the championship standings as they go into the second last race of the season.
Yeah, actually, I did get a chance to watch Donny's spin at the end there, and it was unfortunate because he is one of the top 5 drivers in the points who has yet to score a win this season, as is Shane McEachin. Rodney Woford, who won last week, currently 6th in the points, 35 points back of points leader Brandon Traberco. And honestly, those top 6 are really the only drivers with a realistic shot of winning the championship. I would imagine that Greg Hooks in 7th is mathematically alive, but the top 6 would have to not start the next 2 races for him to win. So, Brandon Traberco currently sitting in the catbird seat, 12 points ahead of Rod Flagg. Brandon has 3 wins this season, Rod only has 1. Frank Busilia is there in 3rd place, and Donny Giratano is there in 4th place. Like we say, he almost got the win last week at Talladega. You can be sure he'll be wanting the win this week, not only so he can say that he won this season, but really it might be the only thing left keeping him alive in this points championship.
Yes, indeed. And in 2nd place, we've got Rod Flagg, as mentioned, and Rod has had a win this season. He's in 2nd place and he's only 12 points back. So here, I believe Samuel has a legitimate shot if Brandon Traberco has a couple of bad races.
Yeah, and Brandon Traberco and Rod Flagg are 2 completely different drivers. We see Brandon Traberco really play aggressive, willing to push it 3 wide to get to the front, whereas Rod Flagg kind of just sits there on the safe low line and gets a solid finish. But granted, Brandon actually has more wins this season than Rod, but at the same time they're close in points, which gives you the impression that Rod has had better consistency. I have a feeling that Brandon might have to start playing it a little bit safer in these last couple of races, especially at a track here at Daytona. It's a lot harder to go 3 wide and hold it than it is at Talladega, because even though, as Evan alluded to earlier in the broadcast, Daytona is a bit thinner than Talladega, it may only be the slightest bit thinner, but believe me, when you're behind that steering wheel at 200 miles an hour, that little bit thinner gets exponentially multiplied, and it seems like you're racing through a tunnel the whole time.
Well, that is absolutely true, Samuel. And in fact, you know, on Talladega, you have in places 4 marked lanes for people to use and to find their marks. But on Daytona, pardon me, if you are in the middle lane, there are no markers for you, and it is extremely risky. We are racing at night though, Evan, with these cars, and we'll get you to talk about these cars in a second, and that should give them a little more grip tonight.
Yeah, and it would be more provident if they were at, you know, one of the 1.5 mile, maybe intermediate NASCAR style tracks, but Daytona, if it is hot out there, these cars can get slick. So, I mean, you look at things like pit strategy and whatnot. Do you take tires, you know, do you just go with fuel only? The tires do get some relative wear. Now, for the most part, I don't think it's going to be much of a factor, but when it comes down to the end of this race and you're making those sharp jabs at the wheel, the nighttime is definitely going to help give you that little bit more security there and keep that back end underneath you.
Yes, indeed. And, well, look, we've got only a couple of minutes left during the warm-up. The guys are having a bit of fun now, pushing each other around and trying to unsettle each other and actually trying to spin each other. So just a bit of fun. Frank Busilia, Samuel, I just want to talk about Frank Busilia. At one stage, he was leading this championship. He's currently now in 3rd place, 20 points back. And we've seen Frank Busilia race hard, pretty much races very clean, but he does race very hard. So he's got a shot tonight as well, seeing as how he's certainly put up the fastest time so far in the practice.
Yeah, the practice times though can mean anything. You could have got a good draft 1 lap, and some drivers may not have. Brandon Traberco, Rod Flagg and Frank Busilia are the top 3 highest in the points, and really it's gonna matter how well do they do tonight heading into last week's final round. If they crash tonight, I have a feeling it might be championship over for them. If one of them emerges race winner tonight, they may very well find themselves in the points lead, so we'll have to wait and see about that. 2 small things I noticed while we got about a minute of warm-up left here, Richard. We have had a couple of drivers who have had issues holding their connection during this warm-up session. Larry Camp and Cody Dutton notably, so hopefully they'll get those issues sorted out before the race begins. And also this is going to be a 40-lap race, but I believe you only get about 30-35 laps on fuel here. But granted, we will probably see a caution. I believe there's been at least one caution in every iSuperSpeedway race this season, so pit stops will probably take place under yellow.
And even if we do see the yellow here, Sam, we have seen some occasional races, and some of the races that we've seen have been, 47 laps in distance, plus you make that at Talladega, it's a lot longer around the racetrack. But we have seen guys in the past here been able to stretch it, these 40 laps on fuel, if they're able to get a couple of cautions. Now, they'll stay out, they won't have the fresh tires, there's really not an extreme benefit to them, but they're going to have to count on, I think, at least 2 cautions if they want to make it on fuel. They'll get the track position, but again, track position is not really stable at this track because you're always moving up and down through the pack.
Yeah, and Larry Camp has yet to return to the iRacing service as the field gets gridded up on pit road here. Now, you may see some drivers, especially starting on the inside, pull into their pit stall and drop to the back before the race starts to get some... Oh, and as I say that, Larry Camp actually reconnects to get out of the hornet's nest and start at the back of a field where it might be safer earlier on. But right now, as the field gets gridded up, let's take a look at the starting order. Josh Hanna is going to be starting on pole position in the Hot Wheels number 5 Ford Fusion. Lined up alongside him will be Ron Thompson. Cody Dutton and Shane McEachran will take up the second row of the field, followed by Larry Camp and Dan Osborne. Frank Busilia, the third, is our first points contender, really, starting there in 7th place. Lined up alongside him, another points contender, Rod Flagg in 8th, and then Mark Brown and Kent Connolly round out the top 10, Evan.
Rodney Watford, the number 7 machine, is going to be starting inside row 6. That's the 11th starting position as the field begins to roll from the pit lane. Dan Harrington, the number 82, is going to start from position number 12. Donnie Giratano, still in search of a trip to victory lane. He will start in the unlucky number 13 starting position. Chris Jennings alongside him in the 088 rather, in 14th. Greg Hook's going to be starting 15th at a 98 machine. Tommy Hall, the number 4 car, starts 16th. Jared Haggerty 17th. Ramon Evans 18th. 19th, Dennis Wright. And rounding out the top 20 is James Pileski. And then 21 cars in the field, so Brandon Chaburko is going to be sitting shotgun all by himself on row 11.
Yeah, Brandon Chaburko, one of the points contenders, starting dead last, so it'll definitely be interesting seeing how he can get through the field. Now, as we say, a couple of drivers been having connection issues, but looks like all 21 drivers will start from the grid, and Josh Hanna will have control of the field at the start of the race, Richard.
Yeah, guys, I experienced some technical problems there, but I am back. I'm just getting my iRacing session going once again, so I will hand over to you, Samuel, because I'm not quite ready yet.
That's alright, we just ran through the points order, and as we say, the big 3 points contenders are going to be starting 7th, 8th and 21st. Frank Busilia, Rod Flagg and Brandon Chaburko respectively. The pace car, Ford Mustang pace car, leading them through turns 3 and 4 right now. They'll be double file, 10 rows deep, and don't expect that to change in a hurry. Now remember, they will go on the green flag, so Rod Thompson should be able to get a pretty decent restart on that outside line in that number 44 Miller car, and the pace car pulls off. Josh Hanna has control of the field, and the green flag is about to fly here at Daytona International Speedway.
And green flag gets going. The 5 machine of Josh Hanna is going to pull out in front of the 44 of Ron Thompson. Thompson, the first car out on the inside lane or on the outside. He's going to drop back to side-by-side for second. The 08 of Cody Dutton wants to get up to the 5 of Josh Hanna and get going. They have the 94 machine on their back bumper as well. At a field now cycles at a 2, Richard.
Yes, and as mentioned, Josh Hanna in charge at the moment. Ron Thompson just behind him. Cody Dutton not seeing the big names. Frank Busilia now in 6th place. Ronnie Garatano going to the outside there, trying to latch on to the outside lane. Everybody settled in pretty well. Rod Flagg in there as well on the inside. Guys, pretty respectable at this point in time, Samuel.
Yeah, and you're talking about Donny Giorentano. He started 13th. He's already up into 7th. That number 2 car is on a mission now on that high side. They're trying to take a lead away from Josh Hanna, but right now Josh is holding onto it pretty steadily, Evan.
And that outside lane has nearly gotten back up side by side with the number 5 of Hanner. Again, we saw him be able to pull a car length on that outside lane off to start. And now they're going to get back side by side. You see the 20 into Shane McEachin utilizing as much as the back straightaway as he can, where they are allowed to push. He got the 44 of Thompson up nose to nose with Josh Hanner, but because that outside lane can't push until now off the corner, you saw that inside lane, the shorter way around the racetrack, was able to give Josh Hanner back that car length advantage. Now the outside gets pushed again, still to number 5 by the start-finish line.
Yes, and just a little way back from those guys, we've got the 98 of Greg Hooks. He's followed by the number 8 of Dana Osborne. They just about 5 car lengths off the leading pack there. So they would want to help each other to get up with those guys. Donny Giorentano, the last of that leading pack.
Oh, 3 wide for the lead. There's contact.
Oh!
There's a big crash.
Big crash. First caution of the night.
Wow, the 28 of Shane McEachin is destroyed, guys. He got hooked real quickly into the wall, and some of the other drivers are talking a little bit of lag, but not sure if Shane was trying to go 3 wide or if it was that push from the 7 of Rodney Wofford, but they just started bouncing off each other, and he got a wicked hit into the wall and spun a good couple dozen times there, and his machine torn up. It looks like a couple of the guys get some minor damage, but we did go under the caution flag period.
Absolutely, he is in big trouble, and we've got that on replay. His car spun, slammed into the wall, got lifted up into the air, and spun a few more times. So he, luckily, early on in the race, will have Evan a second chance with a new car, though.
He's going to be able to use up that quick fix, so he'll go down pit road, get a fresh car. These guys do get 2 quick fixes to use throughout the race. Now, it's not smart to bank on those and race with the mindset that you do have those 2 quick fixes, because sometimes you can go out there, you'll get a little bit of a tap, and you'll get some back-end damage that really doesn't require you to get a new car. You come down pit road, iRacing is going to give you that brand new race car, and you will not have it. You can't choose when you get it, so he's going to have to use it up, being Shane McEachin, as he sits getting a tow back to pit road because he lost his engine. So it'll take him maybe 3 minutes before he's able to get back out on track, and I think that's going to cost him about a lap or so.
Yeah, it certainly will cost him, but it does mean he will be able to get back into the race. Now, Samuel, it seems to me, I'm just driving along here with Brandon Chaburko well towards the rear of the field at this point. Maybe a very wise move from Brandon to start somewhere near the rear.
Well, honestly, I don't think it was a choice. He was kind of running mid-pack in the Beam main race. That's how they qualified for this. But he is trying to work his way up through the field. And as Evan alluded to, Shane McEachin is actually one of the drivers who's still mathematically eligible for the championship, and even though he crashed and gets a free repair, he is going to fall a couple of laps down. He's going to need quite a few more cautions to get those back and contend for the championship still. Another driver who's been having issues is Larry Camp with connection issues. Currently he's still on the lead lap, but quite a ways down, and I don't know what happened in turn 2 over there. The whole field just bunched up under caution.
Yeah, Shane McEachin, a tough night for him, and as you mentioned, a few others as well. But the pace car is out there. We are only on lap number 4 at this point. So, you know, there's 40 laps in this race, 36 laps to go. Take away a few for caution laps. Plenty of time to get settled in, as we see Shane McEachin, having taken the tow, finally come into his pit stall, and he should be out there momentarily once he gets his free car. So, whoa, his car looks pretty bad. But back to the front there with Josh Hanna. Now, we've seen this before, Evan, with Josh Hanna. I'm not quite sure if it was last week or the week before, but Josh Hanna up front there, fighting for a win, and could not get it done because of some very late cautions and accidents towards the end of the race there.
And Josh is another one of the drivers that has not been able to get the victory lane yet so far this season. He enters tonight 10th in the championship standings and well out of the battle for the points championship, as he's 105 points back from Brandon Chaburko entering tonight. But on 9 starts, he does have 3 top 5 finishes, but again has not been able to translate that into a trip to victory lane. You can compare the 5 to the likes of some other cars that we've seen run strong, like Ramon Evans, cars that are up front, but they have just not been able to get that extra spot there at the end. Things just don't fall your way. At Dana Osborne, all these guys we see run solid, and they're just unable to translate it into a win, and just can't get the right, can't get the pieces to fall into place for them. So tonight could be another good night for Josh Hanner. He could try to get the victory lane, but it's still very early to tell right now. But definitely looking strong as he sits out front, as the lights have gone off at a pace car. We'll go back green on lap number 7.
Yeah, that's correct. And a couple of guys who have not been mentioned a heck of a lot throughout the broadcasts. Ron Thompson, Cody Dutton, who's had some pretty strong races as well. These guys have not managed to pull off wins. At this point in time, Frank Busilia, of the guys up near the close to the top of the championship ladder, Frank Busilia in the 94 car, he is currently in 5th place, and I'm just having a look at him at the moment. Donny Garetano is my sentimental favorite. I have got my fingers crossed that he can do something here tonight, Samuel, because man, that guy really deserves it. He's raced hard throughout the season so far for no win, but he's still up there in the championship with a slim but definitely a chance to get up there.
Yeah, but I'd hate to wish bad on your favourite, Richard, but he just lost the connection for about 5 seconds there down the backstretch, was able to get it back, and it's been looking good ever since. Hopefully it was a one-time thing, because he is sitting pretty. 3rd car there on the high side, pace car about to peel off, and Josh Hanner will have control of the field.
And the pace car indeed just pulls off. Remember, they cannot go before the green flag. The green flag flies right now. Josh Hanner takes off. Pretty good start there on the outside. Ron Thompson a little slow to get away behind Ron. The number 7 there of Rodney Wofford probably would have liked him to have got away sooner. The 2 behind the 7 there, Donny Garetano. Frank Busilia in the 94 on the inside lane, following behind the 44, I believe, or no, that won't be the 44. That's probably the 08 of Cody Dutton. So a nice clean restart. Let's hope we don't see a repeat of what happened on lap number 4 when we had that caution, Evan.
Yeah, we had some 3 wide coming off that restart. It was the 3 car who made it 3 wide. Brandon Chaburko quickly jumped out to the outside lane. Again, you will not get a black flag from the sim if you pass somebody on the outside before the start-finish line. If you go to the inside, you will be black flagged. So the 3 took a look up to the outside, was unable to have a hole open up, and he was able to drop back in line behind the 82 of Dan Harrington at a quarter number 2. He continues to look high, trying to find a way through. Again, as they sit right now, Frank Busilia, who not too long ago was the one with a 20-point cushion, he is the one that's trying to play catch-up. Right now, he's riding nice and comfy over Brandon Chaburko, but I don't think that 3 car is going to stay back in the pack long, as he's always able to find a partner and push his way back up into contention. Top 3 single file for side-by-side battle is going to be for P4, Ron Thompson, on the outside all by himself in 3 and 4.
Yeah, and Brandon Chaburko in the number 3 car has gone to the inside. He's not that far from the lead car, even though he's many positions back. Now he goes to the outside. We're watching him particularly because he is our points leader in this championship, Samuel, and it'll be interesting to see how he works his way through this field. And I have no doubt the class of Brandon Chaburko will shine through, and you will find him up near the end, near the front of this pack, as he goes now to the outside once again, making up positions as we speak, Samuel.
Yeah, but as this run goes on, the cars begin to overheat, running the cars behind them, and that's when they begin to make moves and move around a little bit, and that's when we begin to see trouble. You see them get double file at the front of the field now. Rodney Wofford is trying to make that high line work because his engine was getting too hot, following the rest of the cars, and actually going double file for second now. Oh no, they don't. But yeah, talking about Brandon Traberko, sometimes I think he overestimates the ability of these other drivers. We know he's got a huge ability. As we see a battle for the lead now, that's Cody Dutton going to the outside. Cody Dutton may soon be the leader, and I was just talking about going 3 wide, and they're doing that at the back as well.
Well, you know, yes, you're quite correct. Cody Dutton went to the outside there, trying to get a run and get to P1. But unfortunately for him, that might actually be a bad move, because behind the 5 of Josh Hanna, the 94 sliding in, and the 7 taps the 94. As they go 3 wide, Evan, this is extremely risky.
Yeah, that 3. Oh, Brandon Traberko loses the engine down into corner number 1. He blew it up on the outside. Wow.
Yes, he did, and we are still green. So he is losing multiple positions now, as he will struggle to get back into
this
the
may be his race. He's going to lose laps here.
Absolutely, he's going to lose laps. As we see somebody coming in behind him, trying to actually push him. And that's the number 28, Shane McKeechan, who's also well down in laps. So these two are trying to get, they're trying to get Brandon back to the pits so he can actually grab a new car. And which he does. And Shane McKeechan, what a gentlemanly thing to do there.
Yeah, because Shane is actually only a lap down. He would have been better off had the caution flown, and he could have got the lucky dog and gone back on the lead lap. But as a result of all that, Cody Dutton goes to the lead. But what I was about to say right before Brandon Traberko blew up was he had a really great run going on the high line, and he got Greg Hooks temporarily up into the lead. Once Traberko blew up, Greg Hooks no longer had a partner and fell back to 5th, and that's why Cody Dutton is still leading this race.
Well, I have to say, Brandon made a lightning fast pit stop, got his new car, he's back out there already, and he's last, but he's still on the lead lap, but he has no chance of catching them. In fact, the leaders under the draft will probably catch him and pass him, Evan, but he's still in there with a chance.
And that involves some of both the top 2 drivers in the championship, because Busilia went down to the apron as well. Looks like a machine up there on the outside lane all by itself is going to be dropping towards the back. The 08 is able to get back in line. That's Cody Dutton. But Frank Busilia went from driving top 5 to outside the top 13. He was 14th last time by the stripe. So although Traberko was the last car on the lead lap and may lose his lap here soon, Busilia has only got about 5 positions on him as they run right now, because he got those left side tires on that double yellow line in the tri-oval and nearly wrecked it himself.
Yes, and the 08 making a run now on the outside once again. He's lost out a little bit. He might have been better off staying behind behind Josh Hanna earlier on the inside, because now we've got Rodney Wofford in the lead, and now the 5 goes to the outside, and the 08 can hook back up with him. So this might be a change for the lead here, Samuel. In fact, it is momentarily.
Yeah, what happened there, I think, is just Cody Dutton got loose on the low line a couple laps ago, and they actually went 3 wide. That's when he fell back and Wofford get on the lead. He's trying to push Josh Hanna to lead, but he's got to be careful because his engine's going to start overheating. Josh Hanna cuts off Rodney Wofford, and Rodney Wofford actually has to take to the apron to avoid them all wadding up there, and that gives Josh Hanna a bit of an advantage, but now he's not got a very strong push from behind, and that might mean that Cody Dutton will have a lead going down this backstretch.
Yes, indeed, and the number 7, kudos to him. He managed to save that. He was gone for a second or 2 there, but he managed to save it, Evan, and he's back in there. These guys have now lost the lead, so in fact, Rodney Wofford now is falling into line. In fact, they're all falling into line. Dana Osborne up there, the number 73 as well, up there of Mark Brown, so single file at the moment.
Yeah, it's not going to last for long, though. They're going to get back down in line, try to get some draft. You see the 7 wants to go. He gets somebody to bite the 5, but Josh Hanna going to go up high, and that was close. And on he hit a Greg Hooks. He entered turn 1 about half a lane high, and that 5 nearly caught him in the right rear quarter panel. They're able to hang on to it, no contact, and now you'll see the 7 and the 5, they're going to get hooked up down the back straightaway. Once again, they'll pull even with these top 2 cars, so Too wide, 2 rows deep for the top 4 positions, down into 3, and the 98 gets real loose on the bottom. This could give the upper hand to the 5 and the 7 as they come off of 4, because the 08 of Cody Dutton is about 2 car lengths in front of his partner.
And just ahead of them is Brandon Tuberco, about to be taken a lap down. Let us hope that he has enough speed to latch onto this group and kind of get into the draft once again. He'll still be a lap down, but he might be in a good position along with Shane McKeechan to pick up the lucky dog. In fact, he will pick up the lucky dog if indeed there is another caution, Samuel.
Yeah, but what's really going to be interesting to see here is what the leaders do about Brandon. It looks like they're going to latch onto him on the low line. They can't get by him. They don't go 3 wide. That's going to give Rodney Wofford the lead temporarily. But now the 5 car of Josh Hanna has someone to draft. But mind you, they're losing a lot of time on that inside line. Rodney Wofford now cuts down low. He's going to head the inside line. And it's Greg Hooks heading the outside line. Brandon Tuberco has lost a lap, but he is right in the middle of the lead pack.
Well, you know what, Evan, that was probably not normally acceptable driving on the part of Brandon Tuberco, but can you blame him? I certainly don't. He needed to do something to try and get up to speed with these guys, and what he did was to just hang down low and basically slow the other guys up and force them to push him or to get behind him and thereby get him back up to draft speed.
I'll tell you, the 5 is not happy about it because Josh Hanna went from P1 and he was about 5th at the start-finish line. Tuberco wants to get his lap back the old-fashioned way. He took a look to the outside and had no help from the 2 machine quite yet. That's Donny Giritato, who appears to be working with the 57 machine on the outside lane. Now the 7's going the wrong direction up top. Rodney Wofford maybe thought that the 3 wanted to go with him, and he's all by himself.
We almost had a wreck. Here we do have a wreck. James Pileski just lost it out of turn 2, comes back on the track, spins, hits the wall.
No caution?
No caution, apparently.
Wow.
But I want to mention something at the other end of the field, the front of the field. Greg Hooks currently leading this race. The front of his Chevrolet has some damage. I have a feeling that's going to be hurting his front line speed, straight line speed while he's heading the pack.
Yes, and just a comment there, James Pileski slammed into the wall. Looking at his car now, lots of damage there. He'll have to get into the pits and get another car. But no caution came out there, even though he went up into the wall. Probably because he was around about the last car on the lead lap at that point. So no caution, which is great for the broadcast, great for racing. Rodney Wofford now in the number 7 machine leads this race on lap 20 of 40, Evan. So halfway through the race, pretty good racing, I must say, and lots of green flag racing as well.
Brandon Tuberco is not going to give Shane McKeechan any chance at that lucky dog. If a caution were to fly, we will take the halfway point next time by the start-finish line as the field works through 1 and 2. You see Tuberco, he's out there on the outside lane. He's leading that lane, but he is not our race leader. Again, he is the first car 1 lap down. If he were to cross the start-finish line in front of the 98 of Greg Hooks, who was scored in P1 the last time by, then he would no longer be a lap down. He would be the last car on the lead lap. So that's what he's trying to battle for, and Shane McKeechan would appreciate it if that 3 car got his lap back and a caution were to fly, because that would obviously give the 28 the chance to get back to the lead lap. But they were almost clear there. The 98 of Greg Hooks, not quite, so he'll have to stay in line and continue to get some help from that 2 machine of Johnny Giritato. Halfway at the stripe, Greg Hooks, your leader.
Yep, and you know, very smart driving. Perhaps not the most kind to his fellow competitors driving as far as Brandon Tuberco is concerned, but really smart driving. You know, if I were in this race, I would not have thought of the tactic that he did, Samuel, to actually get back up to speed. That was brilliant thinking on the run there.
Yeah, and I was amazed to see Donny Giordano almost challenging for the lead there, but now it's changed as Rodney Wofford has picked up on the high line. But yeah, as as they get all squirrely there coming out of turn 4, coming across the line to complete lap 22 or 40. But as Evan alluded to, really, Brandon Traberko is Shane McEachin's best friend right now. He wants Brandon to get back on the lead lap and head this pack so he can get the lucky dog. Meanwhile, James Pileski, we saw him crash a couple of laps ago. He has retired from the race. The battle right now for the lead continues between Greg Hooks and Rodney Woodford.
Yes, and let's get the cameras on Frank Busilia, who's down in 10th position at the moment. Just sitting there trying to figure what can he do, Evan, to get up to the front, because he really needs to do that. This is a great opportunity. And the other gentleman we really want to have a look at is, in fact, Rod Flagg, who's in the 23 machine, sitting in an 8th place at the moment. He, with Brandon Traberko a lap down, might be in a position to take the lead of the championship going into the final race. If he can get up a bit higher, that would be great. I think what he needs to do is to get behind or next to Brandon Traberko and just do whatever he's doing, and he could be in the box seat after this race, Evan.
Yeah, Rod Flagg is almost my dark horse pick because he'll come into these races and he'll have solid finishes. He's sitting on 6 top 5s in 9 races, which has him second in the championship standings. He has gone to victory lane once, but he does it quietly. And when we say that, he's very consistent, but you have the flair of the 3-car Traberko. He's slow on the outside, but Traberko's got all this flair. He makes these aggressive moves. He goes 3 wide. Busilia's kind of muscling his way through. Rod Flagg just rides his own race, and he's been able to get up there in the championship, but right now P8, he'll definitely want a couple more spots, and he may be able to capitalize on the misfortunes of that 3 team.
Chris Brennan's wrecked out of turn 4, but did not bring a caution out. He was, for the most part, able to keep it straight, but he has certainly damaged that double.
Larry Camp as well.
088. Yeah, but meanwhile, the race continues. They're working lap 24 still. And they will have to start thinking about green flag pit stops within 10 laps if we don't get caution.
Indeed, and we did see a car get into the wall there just in front of the 088. That might have unsettled him as he tried to take evasive action there, but still no caution. And that's good to see that, well, it's not good to see accidents, but it's certainly no cautions. And some of these guys must be saying, drat, why didn't we get a caution there? Particularly guys like Brandon Traberko.
But Traberko's been able to get himself back to the lead lap, guys. He is 44 seconds down. That's because he's sitting right in front of the race leader, who is the 7 car right now to corner number 4. But again, this would actually help out Shane McEachin if a caution were to fly, because Traberko would not be using that lucky dog provisional to get his lap back. So he sits right now in front, so you'll be looking at the 3 car. The 3 car is not your race leader. Again, he is at the very tail end of the lead lap as the field blows by what I think is the Larry Camp machine, as he's on the apron after catching a fence there in that incident with Chris Jennings.
And the new leader, it's going to be Ritano on the high line.
Yes, it is indeed. And you know, I'm just thinking about Brandon Traberko. So he's sitting far back on the lead lap, even though it looks as if he's leading this race. He is not. And the fact is now, you were right, Samuel, they may have to do a green flag pit stop, and this is going to change things up a little bit. So it's all a little bit funny at the moment, but very, very interesting. I think Rod Flagg, I just have a feeling Rod Flagg is sitting in a great position. Mind you, that 44 car as well, who is Ron Thompson on the outside there, making a move up the outside. These guys are all pretty much trying to think about what they can do, because it looks like this we've got a lot of green flag laps in place here on lap 28 already. That's 12 laps to go. This is getting very interesting.
Can I just throw another little curveball in here? Brandon Traberko, because he had to pit for a new engine, he might not have to pit for fuel. He might be the only car in the race right now that can actually make it to the end without pitting.
No, actually, I watched Brandon Traberko when he went into the pits. He was in and out like a flash.
No fuel,
he did not take any fuel.
Whoa! Oh, there's contact. Dan Osborne. Wow, that wasn't a wreck.
That was very, very close. Dana kind of just bobbled to the outside. He did make contact, I think, with the 44
Yes.
car there. Now we see Rod Flag in the number 23 car going to the outside, probably just cooling his engine a little bit, sitting a few, maybe a car length or two off the guy in front of him, which is Mark Brown. Really smart racing here from Rod Flag. I'm liking what he's doing at the moment. But back up at the front here, Donny Garatano in the number 2 machine, going and pushing as hard as he can now, and pushes Rodney Wofford to the front. Rodney Wofford in the championship in 6th place. Donny Garatano in 4th place. This is good stuff as they cut back in to the inside. And now they must be thinking about pit stop. Surely they are on lap 30, 10 laps to go. How many more laps can they go, Evan, before they are forced to stop for fuel reasons?
I'll tell you real quick, Frank Busilia, who was 14th, he was able to get back up to a top 10. Remember that this is his opportunity to capitalize on Brandon Jaburko. He only has 2 spots on him now because he has lost the draft. He is all by himself, and he is in 16th position. Tough break, because this could be the moment that the 94 would have had to use if he wanted a shot at this championship moving forward into Talladega.
And someone else who's about to have a tough break is Shane McEachran. He is about to go a 2nd lap down, and at that point, with this fewer laps left in the race, it's going to be the point of no return. And I've got to be honest, Brandon Traburco needs a caution soon, because even if we get a caution late in the race, he won't have enough laps left to make up any positions once he gets back on the lead lap. So I have a feeling, really, Rod Flag is definitely sitting in the catbird seat. He's in 11th right now, but he's in that lead pack, and he's going to start needing to make his move to the front very soon. Here come the field to put Shane McEachran and Chris Jennings an extra lap down.
Yeah, and that could be where we might see a caution. So we've got McEachran right on the outside, though. Is that Jennings? That's the 088 machine, so that is in fact Chris Jennings. And McEachran now goes to the outside to give the guys room to pass. Very gentlemanly move on his part. All the leaders are just about through. McEachran, briefly, they are 3 wide with the 83 going down the middle there. Rod Flag hugging the inside line, close to the yellow line at the moment. He needs to make up, Evan, a couple more positions to consolidate move forward into the number 1 position, because at this stage he might not make up enough points on Brandon Jaburko to take the number 1 spot for the last race.
It's just a missed opportunity. This is the mistake that they needed Brandon Jaburko to make if they wanted a realistic shot at the championship. If you're going to put the 44 machine a lap down here on the outside.
Well,
so
and they
Ron Thompson going backwards.
Well, this is very risky as Rod Flag goes very much to the inside to avoid. They do pass the 44 safely. Samuel, we've had a lot of almost incidents that could bring out a caution flag, but it has not happened, and everything is still green.
Yeah, that was not a lap car. That was actually Ron Thompson, who has been running up in the top 5 most of the race. So I can understand he probably looked like a lap car, though, hitting the wall certainly. Sliding down a lot, Josh Hanna cut Rodney Woodford off. I can't believe they didn't touch there. But this is getting very, very anxious. And if a caution comes out in about 1 or 2 laps or so, that will end the race. And I'm really not sure if these guys are going to have to pit for fuel. Obviously, if they do, they're still going to want to run it as late as they can, just in case that possibility happens that a caution comes out and they can save fuel under the caution flag anyway. Right now, Josh Hanna is sitting in the catbird seat, because if a caution were to come out now, I have a feeling the race may be over and Hanna may get the win.
No, lap 34, 6 laps to go. If a caution were to come out now, they would have a 1 or 2 lap shootout. The 08 of Cody Dutton, and followed by Brandon Jaburko, they are trying to push to get... Oh, and there's a touch between the 7 and the 08.
Oh,
and now there's a
down.
big touch, and somehow Brandon Jaburko gets touched by the number 2 and the guy on the outside. He manages to hang on. Goodness gracious me, no caution.
Half the field is piled in on the front straightaway, and we stay green up at the front of the field. I can't believe it.
This is unbelievable stuff. And Josh Hanna now still technically leading this race, but it's side by side at the moment. The number 2 behind the number 7, and they're pushing hard down the back straightaway, trying to make the number 1 position, because if they did get into the number 1 position right now and manage to stay there, if a caution were to come out now, Samuel, if they cross the line, then indeed the race would be over. You want to be in P1 at this point in time.
Yeah, but really what happened to trigger that wreck there is Cody Dutton got pushed up high and he just lost control of his car and came back down low. But for the most part, all the cars, even though they were wrecking, were able to keep it pointing straight, so the caution did not fly. We got a 6-car pack up front, led by Rodney Wofford. Rod Flagg currently sits in 7th place. He is out of a lead pack, but still, that is good track position. That is about 10 spots higher than Brandon Traberco, so it will be a good points day for him at this rate. Rodney Wofford leads low line. Josh Hanna getting a bit of air there. He filters back in behind him. Daniel Osborne in 3rd place. 4th and 5th are Donny Giritano and Mark Brown. We haven't mentioned him at all. Greg Hooks rounds out that lead pack in 6th. And here's a battle for the lead as they come across the line. 3 laps left to go.
Indeed, and the outside line, there's a lap car in front of these guys, so he's going to make it a little bit risky. Stays on the inside, so they're going to have to go high to pass him, and Dana Osborne, that's the number 5 car there of Josh Hanna. That was another close one, but tonight they can't pull a caution flag, Evan.
I guess they forgot the yellows at home, but the 5 machine has been pushed and shoved around all night long. You gotta feel for Josh Hanna, as he has just been the car that everybody's been bumping into. So it is Rodney Wofford in the lead. How about Dana Osborne still searching for a trip to victory lane? He'll be second this time by the start-finish line. 3 miles and 2 laps until we get to the end of this race. And now that lap machine, the 08 of Cody Dutton, he's in this mix. Will he become a factor and affect the end of this outcome?
And on the outside, Donny Garatano in front of him. I believe that's Mark Brown. No, that's the 98 of Greg Hooks there. And these guys are pushing now to try and get the lead. Dana Osborne in one of the best finishes, if he can pull it off, behind the number 7 of Rodney Wofford. Can Rodney Wofford make it 2 in a row? That would be great stuff for him. Where is our points leader? Brandon Chaberco way out of contention at this point in time. Just in front of him. White flag has flown. Guys, I've got a thing in my throat here. Samuel, just call that last bit. Pardon me.
Yeah, if a caution flag can't come out now. They are racing to the finish line, and it is Rodney Wofford in control of the low line. Greg Hooks in control of the high line. There's 3 cars in each line. They're bumping as much as they possibly can. Dan Osborne, though, just getting a bit of air right there. And Rodney Wofford right now, he's going to try and push the Wofford clear of the 98 and then make his move coming out of turn 4. I have a feeling that's what's going to happen, Evan. And no, there's contact behind. That's going to cost them all a bit of time. Rodney Wofford has a good lead right now, Evan.
Yeah, there's no competition because they were 3 wide behind him, coming to the stripe, to the bottom at the start-finish line. Too little, too late. Rodney Wofford to victory lane. Dana Osborne once again will come 1 position short. The 8 machine takes 2nd spot.
I want to say, I know I haven't covered all the iSuperSpeedway races, but I have a feeling you guys would agree that is one of the best races we have seen this season.
Brilliant race, guys. Absolutely brilliant racing. Rodney Wofford makes it 2 in a row. Dana Osborne gets a 2nd place, probably one of the better finishes for him. Mark Brown, it looks like, gets a 3rd spot. And we, of the guys up near the front of the points table, I am looking for Rod Flagg. He's got a 7th place. We'll come back and go through all this stuff a bit later on, but right now, folks, we are going to take a break, catch our breath, and then we're going to come back with the standings and we'll do some driver interviews. But what a race. Good race. Welcome back, folks, to iSuperSpeedway.com. We just saw a brilliant race, probably one of the best races of the season, I would think. Evan, what do you think?
Yeah, we were able to see the green flag finish, which you so dearly love, Richard, and they're always fun seeing it, and that was so close. I mean, down to the end there, they were reckoning 3 and 4. They were able to hang on to it, and in the end, we were able to see Rodney Wofford go to victory lane. But, I mean, it was great. We saw, I think it was only one caution and a lot of green flag racing, a lot of excitement. I don't think you really could have asked for much more. Definitely one of the best races of the season.
All right, well, Samuel, let's run through the actual standings for this race. Go ahead.
Yeah, Rodney Wofford takes the lead, but only 3/100ths of a second over Dan Osborne. Mark Brown and Donny Giratano tied for third place at the line, but I guess Mark Brown got it in the 10,000ths of a second because he got third and Donny Giratano got fourth. Greg Cooks was able to come home fifth, and then Josh Hanna finished in 6th place despite leading a lot of the race. Rod Flagg 7th. He probably wanted to do a bit better tonight considering that Brandon Traburco didn't have a great night. Jared Haggerty in 8th place. Dennis Wright in 9th, and Kent Connolly rounds out the top 10, Evan.
The 11th place was Daniel Harrington. Tommy Hall would come home 12th. Frank Busilia, I think a missed opportunity here as he had some tough luck there. He will finish the last car on the lead lap in 13th position. Cody Dutton would finish 14th. Brandon Chaburko was able to pick up some more spots as some cars dropped off the lead lap there in the latter stages. He'll come home 15th. 16th position going to go to Remote Evans. Chris Jennings would get a 17th place result. Larry Camp 18th. Shane McKeechin with a 19th place finish. Ronald Thompson rounding out the top 20. And then obviously the documented issues, James Pileski, who had trouble on the back straightaway. No caution for that one as well, and he'll round out your 21 car field.
Thank you, guys. Well, let's have a look at who we have here for and we've got Rodney Wofford, the number 1 for tonight. I will have a chat with Rodney, and we'll probably follow that up with Dana and then whoever else is in the booth ready to talk. But let's talk to Rodney. Rodney, 2 in a row. Tell us about tonight. Green flag racing most of the way as well.
I tell you what, that was some racing we had going on there. I got squirrely a few times when we got 3 wide, and just the hanging on to it that I managed and some other people, and you know, that was some racing. We were racing pretty good there. That was awesome. 2 in a row. That's nice. Last week, didn't like how the end came, but wow, I'm speechless on this one.
Absolutely. You know, Rodney, sitting up here in the booth, we saw a lot of contact, let me tell you. But you couldn't buy a caution tonight. I mean, there were guys hitting the wall, coming down onto the infield, and still no caution. It was just one of those nights where everything kind of went to plan. We had that early caution, and then it was just hard but fair racing to the end.
Yeah, it was. It was very hard racing until the end. It was. I blew my motor in one of the in the Dash for Cash race. I was trying to see how long I could go, and I took it a little too far, and I'd push, and then when I could, I'd try the outside, get cleared, get back to the bottom, and it was some pretty good, nice racing for a change. I mean, that was some awesome green flag racing there. Almost out of fuel.
Yeah, I was wondering about that, the fuel situation, because I didn't see anybody go into the pits for fuel. So everybody could make it the 40 laps just about on the single tank?
I would say it would have been 38 laps, if it was caution-free the entire time, 38, 37 laps, somewhere right around there.
All right. Well, look, we're going to the final round next week. You are currently sitting back in 6th place. You'll move up a little bit, I believe. You'll certainly pass Shane McKeechin. So top 5. Very little chance of catching Brandon and Rod Flagg, though. Those guys still have 20-plus points ahead of you. Satisfied with your season so far?
First half, no, a lot of just, bad mistakes stuff. And there's, last 2 races with some good racing and, just some unfortunate stuff that always happens. But Yeah, I mean, all in all, yeah, it's always fun. I mean, rods. This league's always been a blast. Can't ask more than that. I mean, what Rod does is just awesome.
All right. Well, Rodney, probably asked a couple too many questions tonight. I'm getting a sign from the director that we should move on. So congratulations, 2 in a row. That is nothing to scoff at in this sort of company. Pity it was to the back end of the championship, but still, you can certainly put those trophies in your cabinet. So thanks for talking to us, and good luck for next week.
Thank you guys. You all have a good one. Appreciate it.
Alrighty, well, let's bring in Dana Osborne. And Evan, you want to have a chat to Dana? Probably one of his best finishes to date.
Yeah, we've caught up with Dana Osborne. Dana, you're able to come home with a second-place result yet again, sideways across the finish line. Walk us through this race. Only one caution, a lot of green flag racing. How'd you get yourself in position to be up there at the end? And then walk us through that final lap there where things got pretty wild in 3 and 4.
Oh, it was crazy. First off, guys, I want to thank Team Rodney, my teammates, Donnie, Mark. Man, it was an awesome race. But that's the way racing ought to be, and I bet you guys enjoyed that too. I mean, I don't know how I got in that pit position. I just laid back a little bit. Me and Mark did, and just let it play out from there.
It seems that you continuously are knocking on the door to get your first win on this season, and with only one race remaining, it's going to be at Talladega. How confident are you rolling into that one, thinking that you can finally put this machine in victory lane and walk away with some hardware?
Yeah, Talladega. Well, Daytona is one of my better tracks, but I like Talladega too, and I can't wait till next week because I want this win so bad. You couldn't believe how bad I want this win.
We saw you digging for it there at the end, and another solid finish. Before we let you go, who makes it happen? Sponsors and shoutouts.
First off, I want to thank Rod for putting this on. He's a great guy, and he does a lot for us, to put this on. And I want to shout out to Rodney. Congratulations, Rodney, for that win.
Well, congrats on the second place finish, Dana. I know you want P1, and we'll be pulling forward to get it in victory lane next week.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you for broadcasting.
Guys, that's Dana Osborne. He comes home yet again tonight with a second place result at a wild one at the stripe.
Alrighty. All right, well, we'll have a chat to Mark Brown, who we have not seen a lot of, but certainly a very, very good podium finish for him. So go ahead, Samuel. Samuel, are you there with us? It seems like we do not have Samuel with us at the moment, so we will chat to Mark Brown. Mark, very, very good race for you tonight on the podium. We haven't seen a lot of you up near the front of the field in previous races. Tell us about your race tonight. It was a great one.
Oh yeah, it was best race I've been in for a while. I've missed a few races here and there. It was a great race. I am still shaking. I'd like to thank you guys for broadcasting and Dana Osborne for working with me, and just an awesome race.
Yeah, Dana mentioned your name as well in his interview. You two both fantastic racing. I mean, there were so many contacts, but somehow tonight we never got a caution bar the early one.
Yeah, that kind of surprised me. Usually we have a couple, but I seen some contacts, but no cautions, and that's great.
Yes, indeed, and very exciting finish there with Rodney and a couple of guys on the outside trying to make it happen. Nearly got a wreck at the end there as well, but it finished well, and certainly was a pleasure to call this one. I love green flag finishes. So congrats, Mark, on a podium finish there. Very hard to do in this company. Congratulations. Any shout outs?
Yeah, I'd like to thank you guys for broadcasting, first of all, and Rod Flag for making everything work. He does a great job. Hats off to him. And again, thank Dana for working with me, to get me into the top 3.
Alrighty. All right, Mark, thank you for talking to us, my friend. Now, Evan, we will have a chat to Donny Garantano. This has been, what could have been, what should have been for him in so many races. So go ahead and have a chat to Donny.
Donny Garantano, you're able to come home with a 4th place result tonight, but I mean, the main story of the race is only one caution. We saw a lot of green flag racing in that second portion of the race, and it wasn't clean and green, quote unquote. There was a lot of beating and banging. How'd you get in a spot for the win there?
Well, I didn't win it. I came in 4th, top 5. We'll take a top 5 anytime. It's a good night.
Rolling forward, there's only one race left in the season here. It's going to be at Talladega in 1 week's time. Mathematically, it's going to be close on if you have any relative shot rolling into that one, but you, along with some other drivers, still looking for your first trip to victory lane. Are you confident that you'll be able to give it a good go there and try to walk away with the trophy?
I'm hoping so, man. Week in, week out, we give it our best. Try to put that number 2 Chevy Wrangler in victory lane. I just haven't been there yet, but one of these days we'll get it.
Before we let you go, sponsors and shout-outs, who makes it happen for you in the number 2 crew?
Rod Flag, man. All kudos to Rod. He does a great job with this league. I know it takes a lot of time and effort to run this thing, and it's a lot of fun.
But definitely congrats on another top 5 result, Tony, and we'll be pulling for you to get another solid finish next week and hopefully maybe see you in victory lane.
All right, Evan, thanks a lot. Thanks for what you guys do too.
Guys, that's Donny Garantano comes in with another top 5 tonight.
Well, thank you, Evan. And yeah, Donny Garantano has been knocking on that door there, Evan, for that win. A couple of times he's been there right at the end, but somehow it just hasn't happened for him yet. I have every confidence that certainly, if not next week, it will happen for him in Season 3, because they're already talking about their Season 3. However, folks, it is time for us to close up this broadcast. Was an absolutely great race to call and also to watch. A very good spectacle. But as we do at the end of each broadcast, we wish to thank Rod Flag and his team. Everybody is very respectful of what Rod and his team do to organize this league. A lot of work goes into organizing these things, and Rod and his team does a good things, and does it every week, and he is well appreciated by the rest of the competitors. We would also like to thank the makers of various software and hardware that we use to make the stream possible. That's iRacing.com, XSplit, Twitch TV, Audio Technica, Behringer, and also Ava Media. Thanks to the team today, Giancarlo, Evan, and Samuel. Great job once again, guys. Good race to call. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, you can find it at globalsimracingchannel.com. Once you get there, you'll see all our archived races and race highlights as well. We are on Twitter with the handle at GSR Channel, and we're also on Facebook at facebook.com/Global Sim Racing Channel. Major thanks go to Dougie Beard for creating the camera sets that you saw during this stream and that you see on every one of our streams. A special thank you also to Eric Ekholm, who provides us with music. You can find his music not only here on GSRC, but also in TV commercials, movie trailers, iTunes, and even Spotify. If you do like the music, get on to Eric and tell him where you heard it. His Twitter handle is at Eric Ekholm. Well, folks, we have a bunch of upcoming events, mostly next week, but this coming Sunday, the 28th of September, we have the Virtual Sim Racing Association, who will be on the Indianapolis Grand Prix circuit with their Riley Daytona prototypes. Next Friday is the next broadcast after Sunday, and that will be the finale of season number 2. It will be at Talladega, race number 12. We look forward to that with great anticipation. Following that, on the Saturday, the 4th of October, we have the MX5 World Tour going to Road Atlanta, the short course, and that'll be a good one as well. Also on that Saturday, we have the Continental Endurance Sports Car Series, where they will be at Road America running the Mustangs and MX5s. Don't miss that one. That's going to be fun. Then on the Sunday, we have the Northwest Majors race also at Road Atlanta, the full course this time, and they feature the Ford GT and a couple of other GT cars, the roof tracks in there, the Z4 as well. So another one to look forward to. And finally, we will have Champion Motorsports next Wednesday running at Interlagos, where they will also run GT3 cars, the Z4s in there, McLarens in there, and the roof track as well. So a whole bunch of broadcasts from GSRC to look forward to in the next couple of weeks. So until next time, race clean, race hard, and we will see you on track. Thank you.